Welcome to Paint a Beautiful Picture. Today we're going to talk about crazy beats boring. And I want you to learn how to nurture a little crazy. I don't mean the kind of crazy like Looney Tunes crazy, somebody needs to lock you away, you're busting up stuff. That's not what I mean. I mean like wild and crazy, nurturing a little crazy. Do you understand that kids are kind of crazy? I mean, they act a fool and they think it's fun, and actually it is. And sometimes even grown-ups want to do that. I think about the movie Mom's Night Out, where they're just going to get dressed up and go somewhere fun, and everything goes kind of berserk that night that can. Yeah, you just want to nurture a little crazy. Okay, that might mean on a Saturday where normally you're going to clean the house because if you're a working mom, and especially if you're a single parent, as I was, somebody has to clean the house sometimes. That often ended up being Saturday morning. I let the kids sleep in, then we would get up, we would have a nice breakfast, but then we had to clean the house. Saturday morning was about that. But sometimes we'd change it up a little bit, and instead, we would just sit there and play video games for 3 or 4 hours. I'm dead serious. Together in the same room. And of course, I have two sons, and we only had, or I have, yeah, I have two sons. There were three of us. We only have two video controllers. That means someone would have to play with somebody, and then you'd have to switch off. So we would do things like play Donkey Kong or man, I cannot even think of the name of that crazy game on Nintendo. Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt. Yeah. Or we'd sit there and shoot ducks for a while, and then we'd do the best two out of three, and whoever the winner was, they got to keep playing, and the other person got to join in. Yeah, we would just hang together. And sometimes we would eat popcorn for breakfast, just a little crazy, and play video games together. That was a really unusual Saturday morning for us. So you want to nurture a little crazy. All right, say your son's or your daughter is one of these people who just wants to put on wild and crazy, extravagant makeup. And yes, I'm telling you the truth. I would let my kids put on makeup. A lot of little boys, they're not abnormal. They just want to see what it's like. So I would put all this makeup up on them, wild green eyeshadow and the whole thing. And they'd be like, wow, mom, this is like really strange. I mean, I don't like how this feels. And I don't like how mascara feels. They just wanted to experience some things, and I let them. Then we would take the cold cream. Oh my word, this was one of my favorite parts. Like slather it all over their faces and wash it off. They'd help each other wash it off. Just sort of a little bit nutty kind of things. I want you to start paying attention. Many of the things that we've talked about this week when it comes to nurturing a little crazy or having affectionate humor at your house or doing some intentional chaos, most of these things don't cost very much money. Did you notice that? There's a reason for that. I didn't have much money growing up, and I didn't have a lot of money when my children were small. Until I became a nurse, I didn't have hardly any money, very truthfully. I know how to do things on a low dough show, and I'm really good at it. And so, if you have more money and you have the opportunity to do even bigger, crazier things, that's awesome. I don't mind. That's what I said. Please make sure you share with us. And so all of us can learn some more wild and crazy things to do together. But it is a really good thing to just have a little crazy because life is boring enough. It has enough routine and mundane and stuff that has to happen. And so do a little crazy. I'll tell you one of the ones that I didn't do much of when my kids were little, but now I have one of my sons. He dyes his hair a very unusual color most of the time. I mean, like electric blue and carrot orange. And he already has red hair, so that's not such a leap. But I do mean carrot orange. And he'll often have it like in a spiky mohawk kind of thing. Those things are just a little crazy. There's nothing wrong with it. So if you do things like dye their hair, put gel in there. One time, I kid you not, he used to have a pretty good beard. We braided his beard and we put little beads and rhinestones in the braids. It looked really amazing. Probably had 40 or 50 little braids, and he's a university professor. Someone, when he went to school, saw him, someone in authority, and they made him take it all out. They wouldn't even let him go to class with his beard like that. I thought, whoa, now this is a person with absolutely not one creative, wild, and crazy bone in their body. It wasn't like he was going to do it every day, it was a single day. And they were talking about the flow of creativity. But oh no, he wasn't allowed to wear it like that in his classroom. He took photos, but dude, that really, you're missing something just looking at the picture. Let's be serious, okay? While I'm there, let me encourage you. Take some pictures of some of your wild and crazy days or your intentional chaos days. Make sure that you get a photo album. It's great that it's all on Facebook or Instagram or wherever it is. But you know, kids, they're begging you all the time, let me look at that, let me look at that. Get them a photo album. Even if you just have one or two photographs that are notable from some of these crazy days with dates on them, this will be one of their greatest treasures. I know this. My grandson, who's almost 18 years old now, he has a photo album of so many of the things that we've done together. And he tells me that's still one of his favorite possessions. And he's had that photo album since he was 2. In other words, for him, his entire life, as long as he can remember, he's had that photo album and he's had the opportunity to add to it. So that's a great gift for a kid, a simple one for a birthday or Christmas, and allow them to have that treasure of memories in their hands. So it costs you all of 9 to 15 cents at Walgreens or Walmart to plug in your phone and get a print made. And so some of these kind of life is, good and kind of crazy and doesn't need to be boring moments, need to be caught and put into that little treasure book. Just that's bonus material, but just make sure that you keep some of those things in hard copy so that the kids can look at those and remember those really great times together. So, in developing, nurturing this little bit of crazy, it also means that you might do something totally unexpected. So, if you're kind of rigid or extremely orderly and organized, which you have to be in so many ways as a parent, uh, change it up, okay? So that might mean that you don't have time to take this big, crazy vacation, but you're going to go one night, even in your own city, and spend the night in a motel or as much as you can afford, even a much nicer place. And you eat out in the hotel's dining room and you get into the jacuzzi and you put M&Ms all across their bed and you can't go to sleep till you eat every M&M. Now don't get carried away. If your kid doesn't do well with red D and C number 5, you probably don't want to do M&Ms, but you get the concept. You can't go to bed until you, and that's a really good one. Sprinkle 15 or 20 M&Ms across the bed, and they've got to eat them all. And do simple things like sit down and have a night where you have caramel corn, watch 2 or 3 movies where, and this is teenagers usually because little kids can't hack it, but where usually you're going, you got to go to bed right now, it's late, and but on a Friday night where you can stay up and watch 2 or 3 movies, both of your kids get to pick one and so do you, or you never let your husband choose because you're kind of like, oh, I hate that and I'm not going to watch that. And so he gets this action flick that's normally not your thing, and you just sit down and you watch it, and when it's over with, you can do things like reenact the movie. Yo, dude, I'm gonna be Rambo, or I'm gonna be the Predator, I'm gonna be the Terminator, man. Just my kids and I used to do this. We would have so much fun. We'd watch a movie and reenact parts of it and get to be the guy, and sometimes we'd even do things like dress in crazy clothes to be able to do it together. Life really doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't. We often make it that way for our kids. We hand them an iPad, we hand them some kind of tablet, we hand them our phone. We just want them to be quiet because we got so much to do and so much to think about and so much to handle. Guess what? Put it all down, put it all away, do a little crazy. Okay? One of my absolute favorites is have a picnic under the table, whichever table you got that's big enough to do it. So you put the tablecloth on there, use a sheet like a king size one, so it goes all the way down. Put the lamp outside so it's just got a little bit of light in there. Otherwise, it's pretty dark. And it's good to do this at dusk. It's probably my favorite time to do it. So you just have this little bit of ambient light coming through the curtain of it. And you're all squeezed in there together, so it's kind of crazy. And you can't have a big spread like you would have on the table. You might need to fix your plate ahead of time, or you might just have something simple like potato chips and dip with a hot dog or a chicken leg, but you have your picnic under the table. Honestly, my grandkids loved this one. They would say to me, Granny, could we just eat under the table today? I realize this is the simplest stuff, but it means so much to a kid that you're going to do something different and you're going to get down on their level and crawl on the floor and just, you're going to eat dinner anyways, make it a tiny bit fun. So it really does not have to be a big, big deal, but you can just do some things that make it kind of fun. Okay. Let me tell you one of the ones I really like. So, I do like Salvation Army or Goodwill or lots of consignment shops I used to go to. I would take my kids. I'd say, all right, now listen, we're going to try on the most preposterous things. Stuff you wouldn't catch me dead in, right? But we're going to try it on. And so we did, and so did they. And we would just have fun. We weren't jerks or anything, but we'd put on something and kind of walk through the store. My one son, he really was kind of nuts, and he used to like to take bras or ladies' underwear and wear them and make fashionable hats out of them. Oh my God. It was so hilarious. And so he'd put on this pair of underwear. He'd get these really big drawers, He'd put them on and tie a bow in the front. He was pretty unembarrassed. He'd go walking through the store and say, "What do you think about my hat?" I'm just talking. You just have to learn to be a little bit crazy. Okay. So they used to try to imagine things that you could do with underwear. And oh my goodness. I had a good friend. She and the lady that lived across the street from her, they were really, really good friends. For a whole entire year, Deb collected underwear and bras. I mean, like, these huge old lady bras for somebody, I don't even know how they walk upright, but with these huge bra cups. And then on her birthday, on her friend's birthday, her name's Judy, on Judy's birthday, she would hang all these underwear and bras on Judy's clothesline. Now, when Judy went to work, she pulled out of her garage and went down the road that way. And her clothesline was that way. So she didn't see it. But everybody in the world saw this all day long. And they're like honking and everything. And Judy the first time, she had no idea. She never understood what was going on. She's in her kitchen. And all these people are going by honking and honking. She's like, what in the world? So finally, someone that knew her called her and they said, you should go check out your clothesline. Oh, she was so embarrassed. It was awesome. And I think Deb even dyed some of them because they lived in Wisconsin, so it's pretty white in February. And she dyed some of them like hot pink and purple. And it was so fun. So then Judy was finding imaginative ways to hide those on Deb or stick them in funny places. This was an ongoing thing between these two for a very long time. Okay? It was just a crazy thing in their friendship. You can do those kinds of things with your kids. Now, please be sensitive. You have a kid who's easily embarrassed or, he has a little bit of a fragile self-esteem. You don't want to embarrass the daylights out of your child. So be careful in your craziness. You notice that most of it I approach on the basis of what the child likes or what's going to be funny to the child. Don't do something that's going to hurt them or make them look or feel stupid at all in any way. Be mindful of your child. This is between two adult friends. They can handle it. Maybe your wife can handle this. I don't know. Maybe not, but maybe. Do things like have a yellow brick road. For us, that was often popcorn, cheesy popcorn. We would hide things on each other. It would be one person's turn to be I don't know what we called that actually. Like the master of ceremonies for the scavenger hunt. So they would put things somewhere, might be a nickel, might be a candy bar, Could be a small package of M&Ms, whatever. You can tell that we like candy, can't you? But the yellow brick road would be things like cheese corn or Cheetos. Oh my word, we would use Cheetos. So they would have to follow the yellow brick road, find stuff, and um, yeah, just there are a lot of things you can do that are kind of fun, that break up the monotony, that give you an opportunity to be a little bit crazy together. I want to acknowledge to you, Dad, then you got to do some cleanup, okay? Because people inevitably miss some and step on the Cheetos, and you got this mess going on. And it's okay. You have to be prepared that it's going to take a little bit different approach later to get everything cleaned up and straightened up. But it's okay. It's absolutely worth it. Another thing you can do is do an indoor camp out. So you take a piece of string and you tack it up on one side of the wall, and you tack it up on the other side of the wall, and you hang sheets across it. Again, Goodwill is my friend. This is where king size sheets come in. You hang a sheet across it and you make a tent, and you all sleep in sleeping bags on the floor in the living room together. Some people are going to give it up, like, oh man, my back is killing me. I didn't realize I was getting so old. This floor is horrible. But for the most part, you can stick it out. You can have an indoor camp out overnight. And if you have a blow up mattress, pull it out. It'll save your poor old back a little bit. But yeah, it's totally fun. Make a campfire in the backyard and do marshmallows and hot dogs or s'mores, and then sleep inside the tent so you don't turn on the lights because you don't have any lights outdoors. So even in your inside tent, you sleep in the tent overnight. You camp out in your own living room. I hope this sparks your thought life a little bit. That life does not need to be boring. Boring is the pits, okay? And with a little bit of creativity and a little bit of willingness to be crazy, life can be a lot more fun. One more thing you can get your hands on, things like a big red nose or wild and crazy glasses. I really love Dollar Tree because almost every holiday now, they'll either have headbands that have things like Rudolph's antlers or little bunny ears, and they have these wild and crazy glasses. If you go back a little while, you'll see me wearing a pair of those sometimes on the episodes, I mean. Do something that's just a little bit nuts and then wear them in public. Go somewhere together. Oh, one of my kids' favorite things to do. We would lock arms and we would do everybody walks this way, so your legs cross over each other, and you go this way and your legs cross over each other. I was really short. My kids are pretty tall, but we had it down to a science. We'd wear wild and crazy stuff. We'd buy these kind of silly wigs sometimes and wear these wild glasses or these really hilarious headbands. And we go walking through the mall together. Just, I'm telling you, life can be so much fun. Get over yourself and don't take everything so seriously, and just learn to have a little crazy, because a little crazy is good. My question for you today, can you let go? I mean it. Can you let go? Can you just be a little crazy? Because if you can't, I want you to learn. Let it go, honey. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't even have to be every month. But let a little crazy in. A little crazy is good. Again, please send me your comments, your thoughts, and your questions. I would so love to hear from you. It's been great having you with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. Just go do a little crazy. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.